Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is Travis, and we're here at Tpull's Corner. And I named the deck very literal this time. I just called it Mindsplice X UW. So it's blue and white, and it takes on an eerie appearance to a blue-white control deck. But it didn't start out that way. It just kind of became that way. And we'll show you on the full deck list after this first match. Let's see. Midnight Snack. You know what? We have no more lives. We might as well use it. They want that spell for some reason. They think it's going to do them well. We're just going to say, no, you don't get it. Never mind. They got it. They get it anyway. We can get rid of that anytime we want with Final Showdown. Right? No. Requisition Raid. That's what I mean to say. I think we're okay to go ahead and do this then, aren't we? No, because we'd have to pay. That's where my white source comes from. So let's just pass the turn. Let's see. They need to be able to attack to create the food. And they can sacrifice that anytime they want. And they have two of them. Which is not good. So what happens? They made sure to keep the green mana open too. These are artifacts. Let's go ahead and we'll get rid of one and two. Oh, sorry, artifact first and then the enchantment. They gain 2 life out of it. The third copy of Midnight Snack they already have. Okay. Let's just take that one over, because they're tapped, right? Okay, that one is mine now. And we can sacrifice it to get rid of the third enchantment. Or maybe we get rid of that one? No. I don't have green, so I can't pay for that. And I still don't have the other white mana I need. I guess I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Llanowar Waste and get a second white mana source in here. I mean, I do have it in Seachrome Coast now. This really just becomes a chump blocker. They gain 2 life out of it, right? Hey, wait a second. They gained the life? But it was over on my side when it died. Okay, I think it's okay to wait and cast Lost in the Maze after this. I would have preferred to get a Mindsplice apparatus by now, or at least one more land. But let's go ahead and tap these puppies. Gross. We have to wait for them. I don't know what they can... They don't have any mana. What are we waiting on them for? 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Destroy all creatures. You still get both copies of that enchantment. And they seem to have a lot of duplicates of things, don't they? Mindsplice. Excellent. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just do this. We'll go ahead and exile
This ends
this.
today. I bought us some time.
And that gives us some time. They have just another. They have another one. Okay. 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we do this. Board wipe time. White Sun's Twilight. We get 5 of that. We can go ahead and exile their food token, and it doesn't come back.
Have a nice day.
And that's all it takes. They're done. We didn't even get to put out the apparatus yet, but that's the whole point of the deck. Anyway, this is Travis. Welcome to Tpull's Corner. Like and subscribe. I think the likes are more important than the subscribes these days. I don't spend any spare time reading up on what YouTube's algorithm does, so I don't know for sure. But we're glad you joined us. This is the star of the show, Mindsplice Apparatus. We are going through the color pie again after the last great rotation, and we're combining it. This is one of my favorite blue artifacts to use anyway. One of my favorite artifacts to use, period. That's in the current rotation. And we're combining it with my desire to put together a bunch of decks using almost nothing but X spells. And last time we did this with green and red. And I was thinking of trying to do black and white together, but I didn't have enough room to keep it at a 60-card deck. So blue and white is enough. But it turns out I have 4 copies of White Sun's Twilight now, so I put that in because that's an X spell. And this is normally something you see in blue-white control decks. In the meantime, we also use 4 copies of No More Lies just because it's the tempo of the current environment is so quick that you feel like if you try to wait for a 3-mana counter spell, like you'd just be foolish, right? So this is just a primo spell. How do I want to say this? I'm always trying and find the other less used cards and make them fit, but you almost feel constrained to use this card as soon as you pick up blue-white, and it's hard to resist. But anyway, I have 4 copies of it finally as well, so we use that. The other X spells we have 3 Portent of Calamities. Reveal the top X cards of your library. For each card type, you can exile a card of that type from among them, the rest going to your graveyard. Then, after all that, you can cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost if you exiled 4 or more cards this way. So you need 4 different card types. Then you put the rest of the exiled cards in your hand. Alright. It's tough to do this for 4 and still hit all the different card types. So having Mindsplice Apparatus out and being able to cast a very large X number, like 7 or 8, is usually good enough that you can draw, 7 or 8 cards. You'll get those 4 card types. You'll find, the ones that you really want. The rest go in the graveyard, and then you cast one of the 4 for free. That's what we want to do. It takes a while to set up, but it can be kind of game-changing if you get it going. We have 3 of the Blue Sun's Twilight, as usual when we use Mindsplice Apparatus. 2 blue and X. Gain control of the target creature with mana value X or less. If it's 5 or more, you create a token that's a copy of that creature. So worthless to copy legendary creatures usually, but you might have to copy opponent has a 5 cost legendary creature. It doesn't hurt you, to spend the 5 to copy it. You just can't keep both copies if it's legendary. So that's something to keep in mind. But we don't have a ton of creatures ourselves, so this is a good way to get a creature if we need one. We can't always get a bunch of mites, right? If X is 5 or more with White Sun's Twilight, we can get the Phyrexian mites, so that'll give us some creatures. We have Extraordinary Journey, just 1 copy of it. When it enters, it's an enchantment, not an instant or a sorcery, so we don't get any discount if Mindsplice Apparatus is out. So that may be why you don't see 4 copies of it. But you exile up to X target creatures. For each of those cards, its owner may play it for as long as it remains exiled. So it's not like we're getting rid of anything. We're just kind of getting a tempo, making them spend maybe the same amount of mana to bring the creature back the next turn. But whenever 1 or more non-token creatures enter, if it comes from exile or was cast from exile, you get to draw a card. They limit it to only once per turn. But if we get rid of 2 of their creatures and they spend the next 2 turns bringing them back, this card has given us a little bit of stalling from being attacked, and we get 2 card draws out of it. So The 2 creatures, each X would have to be 2. So you need 2 blue and 4. Just to get rid of 2 creatures, you would need 8 mana to get rid of 3 creatures. We've got 1 Lost in the Maze. This is another one. This is an enchantment, but only 1 X, so you can tap X creatures and put a stun counter on them if you don't control them. If we tap our own creatures, or if we just happen to have creatures of our own that are tapped, they get hexproof. Our lovely card, Silver Screw. If you cast on your opponent's turn, you can cast it with Flash if X is 3 or less. We usually want to do more. We're usually pretty greedy with these if we can, especially if we can get 1 or 2 Mindsplice apparatuses down. But if we get 1 free turn to draw some cards, this can change the game as well. If we do end up having trouble keeping up with our opponent's land drops, we can play land or Realm Breaker for 3. We mill their deck for 3 cards, and we get 1 of their lands from the graveyard. It's tapped under our control. We're not bothering with the sacrificing Realmbreaker part at the bottom. We didn't have any Praetor cards we put in here. Of course, Mindsplice. Your opponent's turn to flash it in. Instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less for each oil counter on Mindsplice apparatus. Abuelo's Awakening. Here's another X spell that's white. Return target artifact or non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with X additional counters on it. It's a 1/1 spirit with flying in addition to its other types. So if they have something and they destroy our Mindsplice apparatus, maybe we have 2 out and they destroy 1, we could bring it back. And maybe it'll be cheaper to bring back with the Mindsplice apparatus out. Or maybe they get rid of our Realmbreaker and we bring Realmbreaker back. That's the main things. Only 1 copy. Just have it in there. That's my fun card for the set. And then Transcendent Message, 2 copies of it. So you notice we have a lot of draw card spells, right? 3 of Silver Scrutiny and 2 of Transcendent Message. You do have to have 4 blue to start. A lot of times what I tend to do is I'll get a White Sun's Twilight. I'll get like 5 Phyrexian Mites out, and then I'll use that to convoke this. If I don't have a Mindsplice apparatus out, if I've just got like 5 lands, or maybe 7 lands, I can still, convoke this and draw 5 lands easy. Or 5 cards. I've got 1 Eternal Wanderer. This is just kind of another fun card. You can exile a target creature or artifact. For 0, you can put a 2/2 White Samurai creature token with double strike. Or you can do its little ultimate. For each player, choose a creature they control. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. So it's not a full board wipe, but if they have like a 1/1, I can choose their 1/1 and everything else that's about to kill me goes away. What else do we have in here? We have some spree cards. Final Showdown. This is usually used to destroy all creatures. If I've got 1 myself, I can pay with 6 mana. I can keep 1 of them as indestructible. I've got Requisition Rate to destroy artifacts and enchantments, sometimes 1 of each at the same time. And I've got Shifting Grift, which is usually using to exchange control of 2 target creatures. Although I can exchange control of target artifacts if their deck does not work well with Mindsplice apparatus, but they've got like a massive artifact creature, I could switch the 2, and I have been known to do that from time to time. In the meantime, there are a couple of enchantments I could have out that maybe they've been used and they're not much use anymore, but the opponent might have something useful, so I could exchange that. Not a whole lot else left. We got 1 Runic Shot to destroy target tap creature. This is just for early small removal, really. Soul Guide Lantern in case we come up against Reanimator decks. We could exile a card from a graveyard and stop some of that a little bit if we get a good draw early on. And that's about it. Got 2 Fair Basilicas for card draws. Hidden Cataract for Discover 4. 2 Surgical Bays for card draw. A little bit of Surveil with Meticulous Archive. We've got 1 land that we can turn into a creature with Restless Anchorage if we get the mana colors right. And as always, we've got 2 Demolition Fields. 2 Hidden Courtyards in there too for the white, for discovering. Just in case we peter out, I like to have the lands that allow us to discover or card draw. I'm not sure this is the best opening draw. Everything comes in tap, doesn't it? So even No More Lies isn't necessarily the best here. We need a white color source to do the No More Lies. So Demolition Field might come in untapped, but it ain't gonna do us much good. They don't wait for the offspring cost for Vine Lasher. They just put it into play and start using it, which I guess is fine. How many cards do they have? 114 still in their deck. You know what? Let's just use this. Prevents their life gain. They don't have something they can sacrifice to scry later. They still get a card out of our hand, so they are probably happy with that. These portents are really things you want later in the game, so it really wasn't an ideal opening hand. But we should get enough life that if they build up a lot of creatures, we can at least destroy them when we need to. The question is, did they get the right amount of land when they built their 100+ card deck? How many lands did they pack in? Did they pack in the right amount? They've got some cheap spells, so maybe it doesn't matter so much. That's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and make sure we just use these to power up the Realm Breaker. If they have lands, we're going to make sure that they don't get them. It's kind of cool that we got, if they don't have anything to bring it out of the graveyard, we got rid of a Slasher already. And we don't have to worry about the second Iridescent Vine Lasher. And if they were close to getting a land, maybe we stopped them. Don't have to worry about that yet. I think we just let that hit us for a second. We can take something, but I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to hold off. Just going to keep milling them. Didn't even get a land out of that. Gross. They finally got a third land. What can they do with that? We're hoping they tap out because we want to use this as a blocker. Only one. They did make sure to include a lot of cheap spells. Aha! Okay, now we're in good shape. Because they forgot we can do this. We'll get rid of that. Still doing this kind of thing. Down to 8 life. I think we go ahead and we go get some more land. The more veteran players tend to attack first and then cast their spells. That we don't mind. We will just... get rid of that. In the meantime, we can actually afford this too. Exile that puppy. They're losing all the creatures. Come on. Still no... Oh, we did get the... They had one land already in there, that's why. Okay. In the meantime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I could just take that. I'm down to 7. They've got some things they can hurl directly at my face, so we are getting kind of interestingly low. Do they continue to attack? They do. They don't seem to mind running into my little bird. Alright, another land. You know what? I'm taking it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can do this for 5, pay the ward cost, take control and get a copy of it. And I can see what it is. Notice that the token that we created only creates a token of the face down card, so I don't get the Pyrotechnic Performer. But that's fine. I now have 2 creatures and they don't have anything. And we can turn this up if we get 1 red mana out of this. Which they've got the red mana so far, but we could still get it with Realm Breaker. It's good for 3 points of damage. And thanks to Realm Breaker, it's now, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 lands to 4. I don't feel like I really need Mindsplice Apparatus anymore. That is an instant, isn't it? Let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and do this. Still no red for me. Okay, fine. This damage to the opponent only. Okay, let's do 8. There we go. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 4 go into the graveyard. This one we cast for free. The others go into our hand. And I'm counting on being able to survive, even though we lose 2 life when this throws itself at us. We'll sacrifice the token, assuming they don't manage to remove the token. Nice. Let's get rid of 1 card, shall we? And then, what can we do here? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, so 12. Let's gain 12 life, shall we? And get 12 tokens. 12 Phyrexian Mites. If they can't get rid of 3, they're dead next turn from poison. We used everything we had. We can't do a counterspell. You could argue that I went overboard and that I just needed to do 10, and I could have kept 2 as a counterspell. But what can I say? I'm greedy. If I can tap all my mana and I think I'm going to survive it, I will. And just save this for something else. Let's see. Discard a card. Sacrifice an on-land permanent. We don't need all of those. Our opponent desperately does basically whatever's left that they can do, and then we just get them with the poison. We won't draw this out. They're tapped out, so they can't do anything more than block 1. So we get a 10 poison kill in 1 turn. Oh, such a horrible way to go. I always feel like I should have some sort of emote or some private message I should be able to apologize to them for killing them with poison. Just a little joke. I've grown used to poison. I'm willing to live with it. There are some people that still hate it with a passion. Oversized deck again? Yes. So, I mean, I do have Realm Breaker. So I guess they won't be too worried if I bring out a Realm Breaker. Everything is tap land to begin with. Sometimes that gets me into trouble with these decks. But maybe we have time because they're going to ramp. I just have to worry about creatures with vigilance. Transcendent Message is another one of those spells in here that you do really wish that you had it later. Let's see. Oh, I can put down Realm Breaker now. Always good to be able to do something. We're not going to spend Runic Shot on something that only does 1 damage. We'll get some more information on what's in their deck here. That's one of the... Oh, good. We got some blue. I like blue. We'll take it. We'll keep it. Okay, unable to scream. Really way to get rid of... to neutralize enemy creatures and to prevent us from interacting with their own creatures. And looky there. Do they have an unsummon? Ha ha ha. We got another land. We can put down this land. Silver Scrutiny, I'll take it. Might be unwise, but as I said, with these type of X decks, when you combine Mindsplice Apparatus with X, I get really greedy. There's no other way to put it. I'm not blocking that. I know this is just a legitimate business person now, but I'm keeping it on my side. Okay, how much can I draw here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I do this now, I can do it for 3. That fills my hand back up to 7. Excellent. We get kind of lopsided here. We've got 8 lands and they're stuck on 2 thanks to the way that we milled them so far. I can't say I'm sorry. But they're a poison deck, so... You know what? Let me have some fun with them. Let me play with my food. I was going to do White Sun's Twilight. But we can do White Sun's Twilight for more later. We'll use this now. Just because if they do have anything protective and they get desperate, I want them to spend it now. Bingo. Okay, that's perfect. I don't want them to get down another one of these and have royal treatment in their hand to protect it. So the fact that we were able to spend it, make them spend it on that, that was lovely. They spent another spell to get rid of their own creature. Oh. Oh, life is so bad for them. Oh my. I can't really resist anymore, can I? Apparatus lets me make this 8. You wanted to kill me with a poison deck. Guess what? I took your creatures, I took your land, and I took your poison theme. And we're pretty much done here. Maybe they'll get one more land out of this? They toss away a Planeswalker. They do get a green land out of it, and they do get a Llanowar Elf out. Sweet. I was thinking about drawing a lot of cards, but they did everything they could. The real hero so far is proving to be Realmbreaker just by disrupting people's land draw. But once I get that Mindsplice apparatus down, I have so many X cards in the deck, and the 3 spree cards as well. And the spree cards are in effect just X spells cards. Really, they are. The more time that passes, the more chance I could have to pull off all 3 aspects of each of the spree spells. $93 cards. So a full 100 cards to start with. And is this happening because I put Realmbreaker in the deck? I don't know. Okay, we're ready with no more lies. Just a bunch of reds. Not letting you have that. We do get to see what it is, right? Yes, Dogwalker. We don't need to pass. We didn't have a castable spell in our hand. And they're going to just wait us out, I guess. We miss a land drop. Not cool. We can't really afford to miss another one. Ah, that's a good card. We do like Restless Anchorage. We're probably going to use it sparingly because they could just throw a lightning bolt at it. And they're not getting what they need, so they're kind of desperate here, I think, already. Sacrifice a land, just get another land. It doesn't accomplish much for them. It does dig through the deck, so they're just that's the closest thing they could do to deck thinning. We'll get rid of that. And here they didn't even try to do the sorcery part, right? There was nothing there for them to do. They just tried to cast a cheap spell. With us up to 6 lands already, they should be a little nervous. But red might also have a way to get rid of this artifact. What are the neat things we could do? We can draw 3 now. It's just a nice way to scare them. Just the fact that I can cast a 4 blue spell and get 3 cards out of it. What else should I do?
Try to best me, if you can. I brought back.
I shall do that. They have their own planeswalker. Ho ho ho!
Stopping Phyrexia is all that matters. I'll shape the earth itself.
Show them the edge of your blade.
Ah! I'm tougher than you. Ugh. Try again.
8 spells in hand, 6 lands. They should be able to do a lot. Player chooses 1. 5 damage to 1. Okay, we'll give them... We'll let this resolve. We'll take that. 5 damage to that creature. They can't do the same spell again. And they don't have the -3 to deal damage to this. So all they can do is plus this up. Ah, there we go. Torch. Okay, so they've been holding on to some cards. It's an X spell, too. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. Before they get to search, we get to mill. We'll take this one.
Mirrodin is our land.
Lightning Helix and Healer's Hawk. It's starting to look like almost like my Heartburn deck a little from just a couple days ago. Okay, we'll do this again.
I brought
3,
back.
4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8 cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They might have a sweeper. And I was not supposed to create my Samurai token before I did that. I did that in reverse order. Red does have access to spells that just do 1 damage to every creature, so... If they don't have a way to get rid of all 10... You get rid of the Planeswalker, and then you're going to have to -3 Koth onto one of these?
We will retake
No,
this
they don't
land
even do
from
that.
Phyrexia.
Isn't that game? I had all these other cards that I could have played. I mean, if they'd had, they could have done the -3, deal like 7 damage to one creature, and just taken 9 poison. At least they think they could have. I could have made that particular one indestructible at instant speed. But they didn't even try it. It could be that they were just willing to give up at this point. It does become kind of obvious, especially if you faced Mindsplice Apparatus before. Once I get to this point, if you don't have a way to take out the artifact, the fact that I have 5 on there and can make any of my X spells at least 5 just to start with should give you an idea of what kind of trouble you're in. They don't know, usually on the other side, because they don't have the information on our deck, but they don't know that I actually have all these X spells, which really makes this deck infinitely worse for them. And I think White Sun's Twilight is just coming up so many times. I'm not editing these, so when it shows up, it's just I'm playing these one at a time in order, and White Sun's Twilight keeps on popping up. And it's always at a good point where I've got enough mana to cost at least 5 for my X. So I can do a nice board wipe and get the Phyrexian Mites in. Here, one of the more expensive cards, and no counter spells. And a card we usually want for later. So not the greatest of starts. We do like our lands, so early on we don't throw our lands away. we're plotting. We're plotting, are we? Do I have time for this? Or are they going to do 9 damage to me right now? They have 2 extra cards in their deck as well. They're blue, so you got to give them extra time to think. It's not the regular mono red aggro. But they didn't miss a land drop, which I don't like. It probably means they have the full contingent of at least 24 lands in their deck. Some of the mono red aggros go down to like 21, or they try and go down to 19 if they can. Yeah, look at that. So many spells. Yep, lots of damage. Lots of everything. I can do... No, that's all going to be tapped. If I do this... I'll go ahead and get a plains. And then I can go ahead and mill them for just 3. And that's all we're going to do this time. What else do we have? They do have Shore Up. So they are trying to protect these cards too. But maybe or not on my watch is going to fly. Depends on what they try and do here. They try and do Round Crackling Wit. Okay. But they tap out for that.
Hey, you see a guy in a blue hood around here? I hope you've got bottled lightning share.
We can at least get rid of that. The odds are not good for me here. I just take one of these, I guess? These don't have prowess, so you take the otter that has prowess. They replace it?
Otter to otter? I need some help. Aha! A solution!
And just in time, they're refilling their hand with potentially useful stuff. We're going to trade. If they have a cheap spell they can use, they will use it here. Just kind of hoping they don't have a cheap counterspell.
This ends today. Thank you for your help.
And you could argue that I should have just used the +1 to exile one of those. Oh, interesting.
There's evidence here somewhere.
Well, I kind of like this now. I don't feel like they're going to attack me now. Life is good. Okay, this should give me some breathing room. We trade these two. Okay, we don't trade those two.
I have a plan.
They had it. I don't know what else we could have done with regard to that. Do we draw our own cards? let's go ahead and get rid of you.
I'll handle this one.
Yeah, let's draw our own cards, I guess. No attacks. Gross. I think they can kill us. All it took was for them to have one more of the shore-ups. Out of 100 cards, we
Together
already
we can
got
ship
rid
the
of
current.
one, and they had the other one waiting. And we had another thing that we could have done. We had to draw to get it.
I've calculated exactly what I
We
need.
didn't have any instants. This was at sorcery speed. If I would try to exile the Dracosaur, that would have been at sorcery speed, so I don't really see any other thing that we could have done at that point.
Aha! A solution!
And look at them pause. Isn't that strange? You take too long. It's like, were they going to play with their food and just take out the Planeswalker for a second? I don't know. I don't know why they paused at those particular moments. It's either you're going to kill me or you're not, but you should have already made up your mind at that point. I don't know why you don't have much left in the tank as far as untapped land. Shows you hexproof at instant speed. Can decide an entire match. See what else we got. Blue Sun's Twilight. No. That's too expensive up front. I definitely need more land, because these are both things you want later. Well, that's not good. They'll probably take no more lies. There are only 4 cards they can take. It shouldn't be that difficult. There you go. We knew you could do it. Now our playbook is kind of known to them. I suppose we could have kept Blue Sun's Twilight and maybe take over the bat. Yeah, let's put this down now. We need white and we need blue. We'll take the blue. And now we can flash in Mindsplice. Kind of like that one. I think we just keep things the way they are, pass the turn, and we can tap all 3. Oh, hang on. 1. Oh, it's... I can do it with flash, though. 1, 2... Oh, you know what? My bad. I forgot, even though I can flash this in, it's an enchantment, I don't get the 1 mana discount from Mindsplice Apparatus, the one drawback of this particular card. So, because this is a tap land, I'm actually 1 short. However, I do have Restless Anchorage here. So, let's get rid of the bat. And board wipe. Just enough with Mindsplice Apparatus. Now, I expect you to have removal, but I expect it to be black removal. I don't expect you to have a board wipe with all of these creatures. With 1, 2, 3 drops and a 7 drop. Okay, Rankle's Prank is not bad. 2 creature removal in 1 shot. But you're tapped out. And White Sun's Twilight to the rescue again. We just saved the No More Lies so they can see that we have it. So they can't cast a really big spell. They need to do something at 3 or less. And they don't have a lot of ammunition right now. Oh, they're acting like they have blue. You do not have blue. You have white and black spells. And you're either going to get rid of a creature or you're not. They've got something they can play. There you go. That's 3. I'm certainly willing to allow that. And Mindsplice Apparatus fits in really well with the blue-white control deck. Oh, they have... I guess we'll do that. I mean, I could get rid of... I could let them have that one too, but... They saved up 2 murders. Sarah Angel's nice. Except now it's mine. Can't block my poison. So we did have a lot of removal here, didn't we? There's another murder. Yeah, why not? That's okay as well. Don't forget I can do Restless Anchorage here. Shame on them. Blue Sun's Twilight. Let's just show off, shall we? That's a lot of overkill. I'm keeping the land. 1 more poison. Now I've got a couple of dogs. What else can I do here? No, I don't want that one. I want Portent of Calamity. 8. 8's a good number to draw. We'll keep that one. Oh, that's a lot of land. crap. Oh, I don't have 4 land types. Look at that. I just flooded out with all that land. We'll do Silver Scrutiny, and I guess that. So that's a lot of stuff thrown in the graveyard. I do get to go through my deck quite quickly. Just pull up some more stuff just for the heck of it. And we have to get rid of 3 things. Do a 1 and a 2 and a 3. No More Lies is fairly worthless now. They've got 8 mana down. But they had nothing to stop that final poison. They kind of flooded out there. So I think we'll stop it there. Arcane Epiphany. Okay. I like wizard decks too, so I'll be using that spell before too much longer. Mindsplice X. So next time we'll do black. We'll do black and blue. Next time we'll do all the X spells that come in the color black. I really like these Mindsplice XX. I've loved the Mindsplice apparatus from the beginning. There's all sorts of fun instants and sorceries that you can build into those decks. I think I've got an entire playlist there, so if you like the way this one works, you can go check out the other playlist. That is just a Mindsplice apparatus playlist. But the last few of those that I've done have been specifically cards that are made of X spells. And that seems to be even more fun than usual for me. At least I enjoy it that way. You guys can let me know what you enjoy out of this. This did still seem like one of the more traditional, between the 4 copies of No More Lies and White Sun's Twilight, it felt automatically very reminiscent of a regular blue-white control deck. Because they usually have some card draw in there, they quite often have something like an Eternal Wanderer in there as well. There may be a little bit of things in here that maybe they don't have. So hopefully this is enough of a variation. I know there's so many YouTube content creators out there, and I've probably erred on the low side of putting out blue-white control decks. I really like blue. Blue's one of my favorite colors. But I know people like CBG, for example, when he gets bored and can't come up with anything new, his favorite is control, so he just brings out his blue-white control deck again. So I try not to do things that are too familiar. But again, I fell into the same trap as them, even though I'm not playing ranked in here for you. Just the idea of substituting any other card for No More Lies feels inefficient, and it feels like I would be unnecessarily handicapping myself. So the way they designed this, and the art's good, of course, as well too. The flavor's fairly good. So all around, it's just a well-designed card, and it's hard to argue to put anything else in its place. That said, we'll see if I craft something else that involves Mindsplice apparatus in white that does not have No More Lies in it. I'll take up that challenge. Let me know what you think of the deck. As always, we ask you to like and subscribe. And there's a new poll up just before I let you go, because we also got to thank our Patreon subject before I forget. There's a new poll up for the month just to ask about what kind of content you want for the new year, because when I started, we were sort of coming out of the COVID lockdown 4 years ago, and some extra time, so I was putting out like 5 videos a week. And this year was ultra busy, so I cut it down to just 2 videos a week. And I know some of y'all kind of have a full playing card with what you like to watch between TV and movies and YouTube and that sort of thing. So I just put up an opinion poll there to give me an idea of if I should aim for more next year. Just let me know, is 2 videos a week enough content for you out of this channel? Or are you enjoying this channel so much that you actually would like for me to put out additional content if I do have the spare time? And as always, I'm here. I'm playing the game anyway. I'm just sharing the stuff for love of the game. We've developed a fun little community here, and I enjoy you all. So definitely want to let your voices be heard. And if you would like to see more from this channel specifically, and you've got time to put in the viewing, go ahead and let me know that. And if I can get some spare time, I'll go ahead and try and meet that request for you. So anyway, as always, thanks for joining me, and we'll have something different for you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.